Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of the year. And this means political season is about to enter full swing. And I'm really excited for it. But there is one image. Well, there's two images, but one recent image that I think shows you exactly where we're going. Donald Trump walking into UFC 296 in Las Vegas, and the crowd goes wild. UFC, MMA, it's one of the biggest and most popular sports in the world. And the big picture here is in major urban cities, major Democrat strongholds, Donald Trump gets this massive applause. And that's what we saw at UFC. It was a fun fight to watch, I got to tell you. I thought Colby Covington actually did really well, but there's a lot of commentary coming out. I'm not the expert on this one, but it was a good fight. Edwards just did well. He did really well. Colby said he thought he won, and well, you know, it is what it is. I'm not an MMA expert, but I can tell you this. You know what I do understand? I understand when people cheer for you, what that means. So if you go back to Madison Square Garden, to the previous UFC, and what did we see? Now, this was big. In New York City, Democrat stronghold, the Democrat stronghold, Donald Trump got everyone in the crowd screaming and cheering for him, for Kid Rock, Tucker Carlson, Dana White. I got to tell you, man, right now, many commentators are suggesting that Trump's polling is so high, he's beyond fraud margins. There's a wild story coming out of Georgia. I think it's 17,000 ballots are unaccounted for. They have no record. And we got a lot of questions about how that could come to pass. Yeah, I know. Everyone's saying, oh, no, when the court adjudicates these things and they come out documents saying, hey, we found this is evidence, I say, okay, well, what's going on, man? But outside of that, the reason this is important is because there's a lot of people who think, oh, what's the point? Trump can't win. Why bother voting? Nah, y'all are wrong. There's a lot of people who are trapped in this mindset that the only way to win a culture war is through some, I don't know, ground action. Or no. Look, you can win. We can win tremendously, maybe not completely, tremendously by voting for Donald Trump. Now, of course, as I say often, is the man perfect? No, that's ridiculous. And I think it's hilarious how the left plays this game where they're like, yeah, well, you're still going to vote for that Trump because you're in a cult. No, dude, let me tell you. No new wars. My argument has been relatively simple. You cannot raise a generation watching American foreign policy blow up kids, invade foreign nations for fake reasons, strip the revenue from the American taxpayer, and then make the argument that Donald Trump is the evil, Hitlerian, whatever. I'm like, dude, Donald Trump, the first time in my lifetime, actually fought for peace. Negotiating peace. And when he tried to negotiate peace in North Korea, what did they do? They insult him. They say he's ponying up to dictators. Donald Trump, he's trying to negotiate with Russia. What do they say? He's ponying up to dictators. What would you rather have? War in Ukraine? You know, Donald Trump may be the madman, they call him. But I'll take whatever it is he had to offer. And the reality is, despite the fact they strapped weights to his ankles for the first several years of his first term, which I did not vote for, he did well. He did well. Far from perfect. Far from perfect, but well. There's a lot of things I think are worthy of criticism. You always got to criticize people. You can't just sit here and be like, no matter what he does, it's good. Nah, get out of here, man. Trump did not do it. Firing 59 tomahawks into Syria was not a good idea. But ultimately, across the board, net positive. And I tell my lefty friends this. They're like, yeah, but Trump is so bad, he's going to hurt this country. And I'm just like, dude, whatever you think Trump is going to do this country, y'all deserve. Y'all deserve it. The reality is Trump ain't going to do anything bad to this country. Things are going to improve. The economy was doing amazing in 2019. I mean, people were just living it up. And so they think it's going to be the apocalypse, some fascistic state. And I'm like, but no new wars, right? And they're like, well, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what that means. This means you want a president like Joe Biden who will make you comfortable. I mean, he didn't, by the way. The economy's trash. But you think that Biden will do better domestically, despite the fact new wars already with U.S. involvement. So here's what I'm saying. Okay, from the left perspective, let's make it actually really simple from the left perspective. Joe Biden, new wars, but he's going to make America safe and better. Oh, then I tell you this, whatever you think it is that Trump is going to do to you, you deserve for voting for Joe Biden and voting for Hillary Clinton and voting for Barack Obama. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Barack Obama extrajudicial assassinations. So you come to me and say, weigh this on the scales of justice. You've got bad domestic policy and Obama killing kids overseas. And I'm like, listen, guys, if the reality was this, and it's not, by the way, but if the reality was I suffer economically, but we stop blowing up kids overseas, I take it. And that means no matter what you say to me, when you come to me and you say, oh, but Donald Trump is going to make the country worse, I'm like, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? Because you're arguing that economic suffering or like demagoguery is worse than American foreign policy over the past several decades. Remarkable. These people live in this world. I'll tell you what the reality is, because you can talk to any anti-war libertarian type and they'll tell you. Well, the truth is Donald Trump does have some bad stuff going on. You know, nobody's perfect. But you end these foreign wars and this waste of taxpayer dollars that strip the value from your savings. You secure the border. I don't know, the libertarians won't say that one. But you end these foreign wars, the economy will improve. Your life will get better. They are lying to you because they have this Machiavellian scheme, the liberal economic order. Oh, here comes the media, conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. The liberal economic order is publicly known about. The CFR talks about it all the time. This is what they're trying to maintain, global order. And hey, you know what? On the surface, noble cause. We don't want World War III, right? Only that's not what they're doing. They're actually exacerbating the problem. They've done nothing to abate it. They act like they do, but they don't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as everybody screams and cheers for Donald Trump as he enters the arena, I absolutely love it. It was great fun.
Who is in the building?
I wish I was there.
Donald Trump, escorted by UFC President and CEO Dana White. And they are all rising inside T-Mobile Arena.
Yo, I got to tell you, man. I got to tell you. We were at Maryland Live, casino at Arundel Mills, just outside of Baltimore, just north of D.C. And you'd think this was a Democrat stronghold, and it is. Yo, it was wild. When Trump came out, people were yelling and cheering. And we're in this sports. It wasn't, I don't want to pretend like everyone in the game was like, screaming Trump. No, but a bunch of people were yelling and clapping and cheering, and it's great to hear. Don't think it was the majority. I'm just saying. You see this, Trump walks out, everyone's screaming, and there were people going like, woo, yeah. I love it. I love it. You know, look, man, Donald Trump is the greatest president of my lifetime. I can't speak to beyond that. I can only read the history books, but I can tell you this. Greatest. You know why? The first time in my life I feel like a president was a net positive. Does it mean perfect? No. Does it mean I think everything he did was good? No. Does it mean that, you know, we're all going to hold hands and wear MAGA hats? No. Does it mean I'm going to wear MAGA hats? No, I'm not. I think Trump did a lot of bad things too. And this is the game they played. Anybody voting for Trump is in the cult. Oh, bro, we've got libertarians who come on Timcast IRL every day and rag on Trump. But these people, they're really in a cult. They cannot accept for one moment Trump doing one thing good. Remember when Trump took out that guy, that terrorist, who was like kidnapping and brutally raping women, and they called him an austere scholar? You don't get to come at me and say cult when y'all do that, because you're nuts. But the big question right now, the Iowa caucuses are coming up. And Trump is certainly the guy. Shout out to Colby Covington, by the way. It was awesome to see a fight. I thought he did a fantastic job. It was a really great fight. A lot of people wanted more action. But hey, man, I don't know. All I know, it was great to see all the promo stuff he did. He came up and he said, you can't stop MAGA. I think Colby's fantastic. And I got to tell you this, too. I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. Maybe Colby doesn't want you to know the secret. Maybe he doesn't want you to know. He's a really nice guy. He's a really good dude. We had him on the show. He was very reserved, and everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? You know, we watch these videos of Colby, and he's yelling, he's smack talking. Dude, he's good at what he does. Not only is he a great fighter, but he knows how to play the crowd. He says he's the people's champ, right? Or did he say champ or fighter? I don't know. The point is this. He knows he's going to give you a show. He's going to cheer for what he believes on. He's going to give you that show, and it is great entertainment. And then when you meet him in person, he shakes your hand. He's very polite. And the reality is a lot of these fighters, like I've met a lot of fighters in my day. They're always very polite and very calm. And you know why? Because they know they could crush you. Like we're talking Colby Covington, top 3 in his division against the champ, Leon Edwards. These guys are the top of the top of the top. Look, there's a lot of guys you don't want to fight, right? These guys are specifically the guys you don't want to fight unless you're on that level. So and they know it. They got nothing to worry about. So they're just very nice people. They're very calm. Like, hey, man, you say what you want. It was, however, pretty wild to see Sean Strickland get into that fight in the crowd. But you know what? It is what it is. Now, right now, the big question is, with the Iowa caucuses coming up, the first question is, what's the point of the Republican primary? Whatever. Trump's going to win. I would be flabbergasted if Nikki Haley actually wins. But we have this from Daily Mail. Nikki Haley gains on Trump in New Hampshire as polls show voters believe she is more reasonable and likable than the ex-president. Now, that I can understand. Described as reasonable, 51%. Haley, 55%. But what does that mean? Does that mean she can actually be... Oh. Trump's lead shrinks in New Hampshire with Nikki Haley shooting to second place. 29%. Oh, I was asked a very difficult question yesterday. They said, Trump picks Nikki Haley as his VP. Do you still vote for him? And I said, yes. And I'm like, with an eye roll and a grunt. And everyone would agree. And I said, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Right now, everyone's screaming, no, Nikki Haley. We do not want her. She's a warmonger, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, if Donald Trump does pick Nikki Haley because she is playing basically, I mean, look, I got to be honest. At this point, Nikki Haley has clearly pulled ahead and proven herself to be one of the better options for VP for the worst reasons. You know who I think should be VP? Vivek Ramaswamy. But Vivek is a culture warrior. We know him. We love him. He does great work. He goes up on stage at AmFest. By the way, that's where we are right now. We're at AmFest. And he tells Van Jones to STFU. But I'll tell you why. And a lot of people are probably like, no, Nikki Haley. Look, she captures the neocon base. And the problem is, I say for the worst reasons, that's why they wanted Mike Pence. And we all know how Mike Pence plays out. But this is the reality. If Trump were to pick Nikki Haley, what am I going to do? Vote for Biden? I still want Trump to win. VP is not the strongest position to be in. But let me stress, I think what will happen is right now, you got all the Trump people saying, no, Nikki Haley, she's the worst. But if Trump were to pick her, they'd turn around and say 5D chess. Donald Trump knows that she's going to capture the neocon base, and he can't lose. Whatever, man. Let's just be real about it. Nikki Haley is a warmongering lunatic. She's lied on stage. She's awful. She is. But strategically, she does provide value to a Donald Trump presidency. Steve Bannon, I think it was, said he's going to pick a woman. Here we go. Everybody thinks it's going to be Nikki Haley. Now, the question then becomes, what happens to Ron DeSantis? How could this have been? It breaks my heart. My heart shatters into a million pieces. But I figured it out. It was almost 2 years ago. I sat with the Daily Wire crew in fancy chairs as they smoked cigars and drank scotch like the fine gentlemen they are. And Candace Owens, a fine gentlewoman. And they talked about why Ron DeSantis, we all did, was probably the right guy. And I jumped in too. I'm like, it's a weird format. I'm like, do I just jump in and just talk over you guys or whatever? Interrupt. But Ron DeSantis, he had the tact. He had the policy behind him. He had success. And we all agreed. It looks like he's the guy for 2024. And then, that's the sound of him going down in the polls and crashing. Just utterly, utterly crashing. And I figured it out. I did. Why Ron DeSantis' campaign crashed and burned. It's all about mindset. I've spoken to many politicians in my day, and I've always been Look, I want to get libertarians on the debate stage. I like the Libertarian Party. I love the Mises Caucus. Libertarian Party can be wacky, to be completely honest, but the Mises Caucus guys are fantastic. Dave Smith, fantastic. Yeah, they don't want to debate. Not the Libertarians, the Republicans and Democrats, because they don't want to put themselves in a position where they're debating someone who's not as popular or well-known. Interesting, isn't it? So let's talk about MMA. Colby Covington wants to be in the arena with the champ. That in and of itself is gold. Now, what if somebody was ranked like 87, said they wanted to fight Colby, who was ranked number 3? You think he's gonna be like, why would I do that? Why would I, what's the point of that for me? Imagine if one day he said, yeah, let's go, and then had this like lesser known fight, in a region, in like a regional UFC event or something. People would be like, Colby's up for the title. Like, he's fighting for the title. Why is he fighting? That's what Ron DeSantis is doing. Ron DeSantis was supposed to be fighting for the title. Instead, his people decided to fight for the Internet Troll Awards. Wow. Ronnie boy. This is why I'm so fed up with Ron DeSantis. He seems like a great dude. He's smart, hardworking, and he's tackled a bunch of issues we care about. But boy, is this guy one of the dumbest guys, if not the dumbest, the stupidest man in politics. And it pains me to say it. And I'll tell you why. Because he never fired his campaign staff. And he should have fired his campaign staff. But he wouldn't do it. I'm going to show you exactly how. Let's break it down. I tweeted this. I think I get the heart of the misunderstanding. Because I get the DeSantis people, they're all like, Tim's a shill and a grifter for Trump. Oh, spare me, dude. Me with all my libertarian friends coming on the show, right? Having Luke come on and rag on Trump all day and night. These people are crackpots. Figured it out. The DeSantis campaign places Christina Pushaw and Laura Loomer on the same level. So in their view, when Christina Pushaw posts fake tweets, it's the same as when Laura Loomer does it. It's a fine tit for tat. And there it is. Here's everybody's everyone's favorite, Max Nordau. This guy is one of the most well-known stands for DeSantis. He's been accused of actually working for the campaign. I don't know if that's true. And he posts this. Laura Loomer tweets, wow, looks like Christina Pushaw woke up and finally decided to speak truth for the first time in her life. I agree with you, Christina Pushaw. Your boss, Ron DeSantis, is going to lose every state. He is useless, very useless. Why did you delete this? And it's an image of a tweet from Christina Pushaw, which says, we are going to lose every single state. Didn't realize I would work for someone this useless. 6:35 a.m. This post has been deleted. It is 80-20, 80% not believable. Only 20% believable. Because sometimes people post stupid things. The original post came from some guy I'm not familiar with. An hour or so before Laura Loomer retweeted it. I do not know Laura Loomer to fabricate fake tweets. If she did post it, she erroneously thought it was real or didn't care. But, I know Laura, she is not the kind of person to knowingly post a fake tweet like this. However, people make mistakes too. So I don't know. All I know is Laura Loomer is an independent personality. She is the biggest Trump supporter. But let me tell you, my friends, the biggest Trump supporter, who of course has connections to Trump's campaign, she's the biggest supporter. No, I mean it. Nobody supports Trump more than Laura does. Does not a campaign staffer make. So Laura, as an independent personality, is just that, a Trump supporter. Yet here we are. Christina Pushaw tweets a fake tweet from Laura Loomer saying the same thing. Christina Pushaw posted this. It's a fake tweet of Laura Loomer saying, we are going to lose every single state. Didn't realize I would work for someone this useless. Now, this is not believable. Why? Because Trump's not going to lose every single state. Ron actually might. I'm assuming this tweet is fake. About Ron, it makes sense. But here's the point. Let me explain to you how it is that Ron DeSantis ends up losing, becoming third, fourth place, losing to Nikki Haley. Ron DeSantis' campaign, Christina Pushaw, she is not some supporter. She is Ron's second in command. And she views herself on the same level as Laura Loomer, who is not a Trump staffer. And I think Laura does great work. I don't know about this tweet. I didn't look into it too much. My point is this. Here's the heart of the misunderstanding. I view the Ron DeSantis campaign as a presidential campaign up here. And the Donald Trump campaign is a presidential campaign up here. Now, if we were to isolate those campaigns, the Trump campaign is leaps and bounds above the DeSantis campaign. But if you are running to be the president of the United States, you are at a certain level. So I'll put it this way. It would be like if Joe Rogan brought onto his podcast an intern at the New York Times and college freshman. You'd be like, wait, hold on. Like, no disrespect to the college intern and the freshman or whatever. He's got some ideas, I'm sure. But sitting down on the Joe Rogan podcast, I mean, we've had world leaders and the CEOs of the biggest companies in the world on this platform. Why would, now by all means, Joe can talk to whoever he wants. And sometimes he may do this. But he's putting himself on that level. That's the issue. Now, I'm not trying to say, Trump shouldn't talk with, fans, or DeSantis shouldn't engage with their voters. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you decide, I'm going to debate someone and we are going to challenge our worldviews, you want to be in the same weight class, in the same division, and fighting for the title, right? Let's put it this way. Ron DeSantis is ranked number 3, and he wants to beat the champ, Donald Trump. And instead of going for the title fight, his staffers are arguing with fans. No, seriously. Laura Loomer is not running for office. She's not a campaign staffer for Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or Chris Christie or any of these people. Christina Pushaw is Ron DeSantis' number 2, and she's decided she is going to debate and argue with a fan. A fan. Ron needed to fire these people a long time ago. But this is where we're going. It seems like Nikki Haley is going to be that bet. So, it'll be interesting. It certainly will. Oh, man. It's going to be a wild day today. We're here in Phoenix. We're going to be on stage tonight with Tucker Carlson at AmFest. It's going to be like the big show. There's going to be 6 of us. So it's going to be a packed table. Usually, like Timcast IRL shows, they get big as like 5.5. I say 5.5 because Serge, as the producer, does talk, but he tends to be more reserved. This time we're going to have Tim Pool, Luke Rutkowski, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Ian Crossland, and Seamus Coughlin all up at once. And it'll be a wild show. But I will just stress, it's going to be a rough return flight because they got us a jet. And that means I'm going to be home at like 5 in the morning, wake up at 7. Let's see if I can pull it off. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.